quiet seaside town, an evil lain to rest centuries ago, has risen. An abandoned fortress deep in the swamp holds a secret that could save the village or destroy it. Now, a band of adventurers sets out to dig up the wounds of the past and bring the light of day to the roots of ruin. This is Tabletop Gold.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Tabletop Gold, another exciting episode. Things are heating up down here in the old Abomination vaults. My name is Lars Casteen. Glad to have you here on the show. We're going to play a tabletop role-playing game today, as we always do. But before we do that, let's go ahead and meet the rest of the folks that are on this show.
Hi.
Shall we? What?
Oh, sorry.
Zoe Chernicoff is here.
Hello. Good this time.
Hi. Welcome to now.
Hi, Lars.
Hi, David the Tin Man Chernicoff. It's so great that you stopped by here. Please take a seat. Okay, I'll introduce the other two. Armad is here.
Perfect.
Hello. Good this time.
That's
the Chernicoffs
right.
just stormed in.
They did, and it's fine.
Hi, Lars.
Okay.
There he
Howdy,
is.
partner.
Robin Lange
Okay, I interrupted our Matt, so it all works out.
is also here. Hi, Robin.
Hello. Hi. That wasn't a delay.
Hi.
That was just me not fully paying attention to everything around me.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I definitely thought that was a technical issue.
You
Cool.
could have fooled me.
All right, so I think we can,
We're all
if we
full
had to
of
put
beans
numerics to our
tonight.
initiative rolls on that hello, I feel like we could do it.
Yeah,
I got a
think that we
21.
know exactly. I don't know. Okay,
Yeah,
so
Lars, just let us all know when you start
You
recording.
can't get below a 21, essentially.
listen, we're going to get into our game really quickly. There's a question that I had that I want to talk about. I've been confused about a number of scientific and medical issues, and I know that the four of you, or the five of, however many of you there are
Yeah.
the most qualified people to
Yes.
to discuss this.
Medical stuff is exactly the right thing to crowdsource from non-experts.
Yes,
This is
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
well chosen.
Thank
That
you.
and the
Yeah.
internet.
I've been thinking a lot about ice cubes lately because my daughter has started requesting them. She'll just say to me, "Ice cube," and I'll hand her an ice cube, and then she runs around with the ice cube for a while.
Question.
Yes.
Are you sure she doesn't mean the wrapper?
Good
She's-
point.
Yeah,
Good point.
every time I hand her an ice cube, she looks at it dejectedly and throws it in the trash. So perhaps you're right. So I was thinking about ice cubes, and I remembered the thing that people say about how, like, if you have an iron deficiency, you're tempted to chew ice cubes.
Mm-hmm.
And I have thought about all of the times that I have been at restaurants and have just like housed glasses of ice cubes. Like I just chew ice all the time, but I think that's more just because I'm nervous in social situations. Is that and I have you guys heard of this? This like chewing on ice cubes means you don't have iron. How is this possible? How is it possible that an iron deficiency leads to a desire specifically to chew on an ice cube?
I don't know the how. As a medical expert, we'll get there. I can tell you it's real, and it's called pica. There's like a name for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a type
and
of
I can tell
pica.
you this because I had fairly severe pica for a while in law school.
Oh.
What?
No kidding.
And it was like a frog brought to boil on a pot. Like Lars, one day I realized that I was just like chewing ice all the time.
Yeah.
And like I ended up being anemic, and it was because I have celiac disease and I'm gluten intolerant, and it like my whole nutrient absorption was messed up.
So was this the moment that this all came into focus for you? Was it the ice cube chewing? Like, was the domino that led you to understanding the celiac and the gluten stuff?
That would be a better story, but no,
Okay.
unfortunately, it was an incredibly low red blood cell count.
Oh, okay.
No, but it was one of those where the pieces fell into place after. The moment that I remember as the like, oh, maybe this has gone from like a weird habit, because you're like, I was anxious in law school, and was I went to Thanksgiving dinner with a good still a good friend of ours, and his wife, who are medical professionals, Alex Schwed, who you know, Lars, and was having Thanksgiving dinner with his family, and his grandmother was there.
What?
And believe it or not,
Grandma
middle
Pika
of
was there?
the Thanksgiving dinner, she looks up and she goes, "Who is that chewing ice?" And I like realized from the other end of the table, I like sort of raised my hand. She goes, "That's disgusting."
What? What's disgusting about that? Just like mouth sounds?
I guess she didn't like the crunching. I mean, I think I really chewed a lot of ice. Like, I think it was a thing. And that was someone where I was like, is this abnormal? I mean, I think Grandma Jean, to be fair to her, may she rest, like, was a little sensitive to this.
Yes.
But
Her response was not proportionate to the circumstance. I wasn't there, but I'm sure it was not proportionate to the circumstances.
I don't think shouting at someone across a table for something like that is ever
Yeah,
a proportionate
exactly.
response to anything.
Especially like a guest.
Yeah.
Like,
Unless you were like spitting them at
Totally.
her. Yeah. But yes, this definitely was
Rude.
a period of our lives where Zoe was chewing a lot of ice and interested in chewing ice, to the point that we purchased a different ice tray that would make smaller and more chewable.
Oh, like the
teeny,
hospital
teeny,
ice?
tiny little
like the little
teeny little cubes. So we had two sets of ice trays going. We had the one that's about how you would expect, that makes, a dozen ice cubes at a time. We had two of those stacked on top of each other, and then we had two of the ones that made, a grid of 10 by 20 teeny tiny little ice cubes, and we had both going at the same time. Because I don't remember which of us found it, but it was like, well, Zoe enjoys chewing ice, and this looks great.
Can't stop chewing ice. Two other things on this, and I'm curious if anyone else has ever heard of this or has a real scientific explanation for it. As soon as I got diagnosed and stopped eating gluten, it went away. Like, I stopped chewing ice. Like, it really just solved it, which is wild. Apparently, also, these same good doctor friends of ours subsequently relayed to me that I guess the other most common manifestation of this is people want to chew like soil or clay.
One of my cousins as a child had pica, and she would eat the dirt. She would
more
like,
nutrient sense, right? Because I think you're genuinely seeking
there's lots of iron
in
in there as well.
soil.
Yeah. And so
but anyway, so I've always been grateful I didn't get that version of it.
So that just that raises the question for me then. It's like, okay, if that makes some sense, is there iron? This is a stupid question. Bear with me. Is there iron in ice? Does ice have iron in it?
No, because pica doesn't necessarily like replace. It's like you've got this consistent urge for something, and you're trying to find something. Your body is essentially trying to find something to fill the gap of whatever it is, and so it often is chewing something. And so, like, when you were talking about earlier, Lars, of just going to a restaurant and chewing on ice, I think that's perfectly normal, because it's different than the craving to chew ice, like what Zoe was talking about.
Right. Like, if I were going to restaurants for the explicit purpose of...
I chew ice in a drink. If the ice ends up in my mouth, I chew it. I don't spit it back out.
Right. Zoe, do you think that if you were at Alex's house and you just were spitting ice all over the place, do you think that Alex's grandmother would have approved of that more or less? Just a guess. Just conjecture.
That's such a good question.
Same.
I think less, but I don't know. How much white wine had we all had? I'm not sure. There's a variable here we got to calculate in.
Yeah.
It wasn't that the ice chewing thing explained it's that the Zoe had a number of inexplicable symptoms, and then the root cause of some of them all was discovered, but it was like neither of us would have predicted that this would be one of them.
Right.
It seemed like it was going to explain the odd like lab work blood work results or whatever.
Yeah.
But then it also turned out that that the same underlying thing of like not absorbing nutrients the same way would explain this pica thing, and the fact that it sort of like vanished. And it vanished more precipitously than it arrived. It was pretty remarkable.
Do you still use that ice cube tray? Like, do you have the small size ice cubes? Is that still like in the rotation? Is that
so
nice
funny
rotation?
that you ask? We don't. We haven't for over a decade, but we did recently purchase a countertop ice maker, which is because the ice maker in our the ice maker in our fridge is broken, and we were using ice trays. Long story, but we decided to try this thing out. And the ice that it makes is by coincidence, I swear, incredibly similar to the ice
That
from these
stuff's the
ice
good
creams.
stuff.
Teeny, tiny,
Like when you get a
little
soda at Sonic and it's got all those like tiny ice cubes.
Oh,
Yeah.
the
tiny and
crushed
like a
ice?
little bit
Yeah.
crunchier, a little bit chewier.
Now,
that's the
I'm
jam.
curious. Did anyone else when they were in because when I was in high school and college, there was a very different thing about chewing ice where everyone said if you chewed ice, you were sexually frustrated.
That was what I was
Oh.
going to bring up as well. Yeah,
Oh.
totally.
I had
And
no
I have
idea.
no idea where I
Interesting.
heard that now, but that was
lunch
like,
table in high school or something. And I think
Yeah.
I was probably the one chewing ice because I just didn't. Again, it's kind of the same thing. If there's ice in my drink, I'm going to inevitably chew it at some point.
Of course.
Every single
Yeah.
thing I want to say now is totally unacceptable.
She's talking about me. It's okay. I was not popular in high school. It's fine.
They're not all talking about you, Robin. There's a whole variety. I'm just swiping through people that I could be, and none of them are okay.
also, I think I've figured out why, and this is relevant to our game.
Good. Please.
As a doctor, I'm going to lay this out as my
Mhm.
conjecture.
Thank you.
Doctor, I'm at putting a
Doctor.
You see,
stethoscope
the
on.
reason anemic people go for ice is because
Here we
they're
go.
searching for cold iron.
Oh, I liked it. I like that a lot. It connects.
Lars likes.
Thank you.
connects
I'm
a
here to
number of
diagnose any illnesses you guys would
I
like. Maybe.
don't dislike puns. I dislike being asked about things that have nothing to do with the situation that's happening at the time. This was a connection. I like puns.
See,
got
relevant
us
to our
from-
Pathfinder game.
Thank you, and I
Well
appreciate
done.
that. And with that,
Thank
let's
you.
move on. Let's get into it. If you enjoy our show and you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and give us a like, please. And if you're listening to us on a podcast application, why don't you go ahead and leave us a review or do whatever it is that they do. They've got comments now on Spotify. You leave a comment. I don't care.
Oh.
Do whatever you want to do.
Hmm.
I'm not your mom. Let's get into it. Let's play our game.
Plot twist: Lars is your mom.
For centuries, the people of Otari believed that the nearby lighthouse was just a particularly well-preserved remnant of a long-forgotten past. But your explorations of the dungeons below that lighthouse revealed to you that Belcora Haravex, the woman who designed and outfitted this sprawling fortress during her life 500 years ago, has, for some reason, risen as a ghost. And you have come to understand that as a ghost, she is now set on finishing her life's work and destroying the city of Absalom with the horrifying void energy of Nimbaloth, a deity known for hiding in the spaces between dimensions and hunting and devouring the undead. Your exploration of these lowest levels of the Abomination vaults have placed you face to face with Belcora Haravex for a second time. The first time you saw her, she was content to hit you with powerful mental magic to force you to run away. But this time, it seems she's more willing to take her time, to draw blood, and entice you to leave this horrible place and never come back.
We probably should go, right?
Here's basically the situation. You are climbing this rough-hewn stone stairway in the larger cavern that contains this subterranean swamp. Belcora Haravex was able to see you via a pair of dread wisps that you pretty quickly were able to dispatch. But then about 10 minutes later, she arrived on the scene of this combat and has been entreating you to leave ever since then.
For a ghost, I would expect her to travel faster.
Next time I'll have her show up right away, Robin.
Yeah.
Ask
No,
and you shall
That
receive.
was not the purpose of that. No.
Yay. Lars is a very agreeable GM.
Yeah, if that's what you guys want, we can do that. We can totally do that for you.
No, we're
Um,
good. We're good. We're good. Thanks.
I'm going to describe a couple more things about this situation, but first I have actually two more actions from Belcora Haravex here at the beginning of round
Oh,
two.
come on.
She just sort of threw her arms to the side, and a pulse of energy wrapped itself around all of the surfaces and all of the walls and ceilings and so on of this area around you. And you see her as a ghost moving her hands around. And as she moves her hands in midair, hands are leaping out of the rock of this cavern. It's as though this building itself, this chamber itself, is an extension of her ghostly form.
Cool.
She reaches out into the air, and Istin sees coming from the wall to his right, her hand emerge and scrape through his face. And here is a strike to Istin with a ghostly hand. That is a 30 to hit.
That's a hit.
So Istin gets swept through by this hand for 24 points of void damage.
Oof. Okay.
And something similar happens to Mag. Mag looks down, and a hand is reaching up and grasping at her knee from the floor. Here's a strike against Mag. I don't think this is going to do it. This is a 29.
29 does hit.
Okay. So some more void energy towards Mag. 25 points of void energy. And she calls out. Belcora calls out from across this rough-hewn natural cavern. I'll admit, this is a first for me. I'm used to more impressive enemies. People of good stock. People of breeding. I've never had to fight literal peasants before. It's, well, never mind.
Rude.
And that's the end of her turn. Belcora is about 40 feet away from most of you. She's about 50 feet away from Istin, and Ao is about 30 feet away from her. She is hovering at the far end of a cloud of solidified magic that Trill has manifested using her new spell, Etheric Shards. Etheric, is that what it's called? Ao is invisible, having been turned invisible by Istin, and she is creeping slowly through this field of shards that Trill has manifested. Zoe, I just kind of want to ask you something. I want to get a sense from you of where Ao is, not physically, but emotionally. Ao, it seems had a strong reaction to seeing Belcora appear in front of her. And last time Ao got attacked by Belcora, Ao thought it was something personal about her. Ao is maybe feeling out some sort of personal connection between herself and Belcora. I'm wondering, Zoe, what you think Ao's reaction to being invisible in this moment is. Given that can potentially make this connection that Ao is maybe seeking a little bit harder, or maybe delays it slightly.
Right. I think it's complicated, right? Because it both mitigates any repeat of the Belcora sees her and it's something personal. Oh, she did something wrong feeling, because she literally can't be seen, right? But then there's also no way for her to be seen by this ghost with whom she has, certainly fascination and certainly is awestruck by. And I think we're far enough along in the story that she's not she doesn't think this creature is entirely good, but I think she does really admire the power that she wields in probably not particularly savvy way, but I think that the light continues, the blue light that is coming from this keep that we believe, I think as players, and I think Ao believes to be some source of the sort of necromantic powers of this keep.
Yeah.
Just has a sort of very visceral physical calling to her, and it seems like Belcora holds that. And so part of her knows Belcora is bad. It feels to me very akin to being a teenager. I mean, we don't all, I don't remember struggling with necromantic light as a teenager, right? But there are a lot of things are shitty and bad for you as a teenager, but you're super interested in them.
Smoking's so cool.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And Belcora has been this figure of mystery for such a long time that having this opportunity of seeing her up close, seeing what she's actually like Ao stands to learn a lot get a lot of additional context that she did not have prior to this moment, especially because it seems as though, at least for the moment, Belcora is not running away.
Right. I think there's a fascination. I think there's a desire to learn about her and possibly learn from her. And I don't know that any of it is very wise, but I think it's like a knee-jerk reaction regardless.
Okay, the last sort of ingredient here is just to pick up on what David is saying, where David is like, maybe we should run. So there are a couple of ideas that you have talked about. I want to just refresh your memory. The four of you loosely sort of established a battle plan, which was to fall back a little bit further down this staircase that you're all set up on to try to maybe entice Belcora to suffer the damage that she would suffer going through the cloud of etheric shards and potentially to get her into a better tactical situation. So far, Belcora has failed to do a massive amount of damage to the four of you. So that potentially still holds some water. But if your plan is to leave, even if you're not like on death's door here, that's maybe something to discuss. So I just wanted to open up the floor here so that we all know kind of what it is that we're doing, since we're jumping into this after having been away from it for like a week.
Right. I mean, the good news is she has not dealt us severe damage. The bad news is she also hasn't moved.
Yeah.
If part of what we were hoping was that she would want to get us so badly, she would move toward us, and in so doing would kind of passively suffer a whole bunch of damage over this large field of terrain that's now been enchanted to zap her as she goes. She's having a perfectly fine time bopping away at us from where she is.
But we are still in her line of sight, and that's what I think we need to... Although she did get magged with the from the walls too, so that might indicate that she doesn't necessarily need line of sight to use the ghost hand attack.
I'll let you in on something, Armat. That thing that she did where she expanded her like range of attacks throughout this whole area, that was an action. That was a thing that she did. So Istin maybe doesn't have a sense that that's going to be the case forever.
Okay.
Let's just get right back into it. It's now Trill's turn. Trill stands about 45 feet away from the looming ghost of Belcora Haravex, a iridescent field of shimmering shards between the two of them. What is Trill going to do?
I think Trill's going to test the waters just to kind of see what happens. I think she's going to do a first rank Force Barrage, because at this point she's not really using any of her first rank spell slots.
An exploratory casting of Force Barrage. Very interesting.
A force poke.
So it's just going to be one, and it's just going to be rank 1, and just see what happens.
Force prod.
Just a single dart.
Exactly. It's just single darts, 3 points of damage.
It's 4 with the Inspire, or with the Heroic Anthem.
Oh, thank you.
This exploratory zoop slips through this wall of this field of magic, and it does seem as though that's having a typical effect
It's
to
like responds
the
as
ghost
though
of
she
Belcora
got a really
Haravex.
nasty mosquito bite.
Yeah, she's wearing this very interesting dress of like crisscrossed ribbons. One of those ribbons gets punctured, and she goes, ah. And she looks down, and she's like, do you have any idea how much this thing cost?
Probably more than it's worth. So then for Trill's last 2 actions, since that did kind of work, she's going to up her game a bit. So I guess she'll... Yeah, because she's too far away. I have all these great things like slow and paralyzed, and they're just too far away. But also I'm sure her saves are ridiculous.
Trill maybe considers that she's too far away to hit you with her best magic too.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, now that I've put up this etheric shard, she doesn't cross through it. I think she communicates that. She's like, most spells are only 30 feet. She's pretty far away, guys. And so Trill's going to go ahead and then do, I think, two fourth rank force barrages at her.
Force barrage heightens at 3rd and 5th rank.
Yes, but I only have 1 3rd rank spell slot left.
Very good.
And I haven't touched my 4th rank spell slots.
Okay, so 2 more darts or 4 more darts
Yes.
of force slip across the way.
So that's 14 points of damage. Plus
15
yeah.
points of damage as more darts of energy slip through and hit Belcora, and she scowls at you, just like, what?
So she didn't die?
She only had 17 hit points left.
Shockingly
You did
easy.
it.
That's the thing about being that old.
This has been great, guys. We're done.
So Trill tests the waters and then takes a more decisive step forward with just trying to apply some damage to this ghost. And it is now Isthen's turn.
Interesting. So it seems like nobody's falling back.
We just want to see what happens. We're such gluttons.
So if we're not falling back,
Here,
Isthen's not going to be the first one to do so. So he is going to, he's 50 feet away from Belcora. He's going to start off by recalling knowledge about ghosts. What does Isthen know about ghosts?
Okay, just about ghosts generally. Give me a religion or occultism check.
Perfect. I'll give you an occultism.
Okay. So ghosts, are they're the spirits trapped here on Galarian in the universe, as they call it here in the remaster. They have something tying them to this place. And what question do you have about ghosts?
What are their resistances or immunities?
Okay. So in addition to knowing that ghosts are bound here by something, ghosts are incorporeal, and so they resist all damage except for force, ghost touch, or vitality damage.
Okay.
And you know that that non-magical damage they resist even more.
Okay. So going toe-to-toe in melee without a ghost touch weapon is probably not a great idea.
It's going to be inefficient.
Yeah.
Trill could have given you ghost touch if we'd thought about it.
So there's a lot of stuff happening right now where everyone's like, if only we'd done that, we'd only done that. I want to ground that in the reality of the scene that we're playing out right now.
For sure.
You have been talking about Belcora Haravex. You have been thinking about Belcora Haravex for so long, and you were being given the opportunity in this moment to look at her, to try things out, and to see what this plan looks like at first interaction with your main enemy. So I would encourage all of you to not view any of that as a failing. That's what's happening right now in the scene, is people are realizing, I should have done this, I should have done that, so that you can come back stronger should you manage to get out of this alive.
If we can.
Totally.
When you put it like that, yeah.
Can somebody give me a perception check? Free perception check.
Yes.
Yep.
Just give it to me blind.
You betcha.
Okay. Mag perhaps has the sense, in a sort of pit of your stomach falling down way, that Belcora is doing the same thing with you.
For sure. We're sizing each other up.
Yes.
We're standing at opposite ends of, the one street that runs through town to high noon, and everybody's fingers are twitching by our holsters.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I'm reading what's happening right now.
He'll just cast Daze on her.
Okay.
That's the only thing I can do. It's the only thing that has range that isn't physical.
Okay. So testing out her will saves perhaps here as Isthen.
It's gonna not work.
She rolls a 34 on her
That's-
will save.
A success, actually, not quite as high as I thought.
Okay.
So she is going to take half of 12 damage, so 6 damage.
She's going to take half of 12 damage, and then she resists all of it. She throws her head back because mental damage, she will resist it.
Yeah.
And she starts to laugh at
Knew
you.
it was a bad plan.
Rude. Hey, that wasn't a bad plan. We learned something without even doing a recall knowledge.
As she finishes laughing, she's like, could you please return to whatever shack you crawled out of? And she just whisks you away with her hand.
I'll have you know, it is
dismissively.
a kind of a shack, my dad's house, but it's mostly cleaned and the dishes are partially done.
They're only kind of buried in the backyard.
Right, there's a few treatises on Otari's history that are sort of like lying on top of it.
Is that it for Istin's turn?
That's it, yeah.
Okay. So Istin tests out Daze and gets a less than positive outcome there. It's now Mag's turn. Mag has just been swiped at by this ghostly hand from the floor and sees the people around her casting magic spells, trying to figure something out. What is Mag going to do to contribute to that?
Mag delays because where is Ao? So Mag is going to hang on for a minute and see what Ao is thinking and what Ao does before deciding what to do herself. Ao has disappeared. Yeah, so there's no way Mag would act before she has to.
Okay. So Mag considers the situation, and it's now Ao's turn. Ao is in the middle of this field of shimmering, like shrapnel hanging in midair. Belcora is only about 30 feet away from Ao. Because Ao is invisible, but Ao has not been sneaking, you're able to hear more or less where she is. So everybody has a vague sense of where this invisible Ao is, but nobody can see her, and it's going to be, it's an incredibly good defensive situation for Ao, but also Belcora is not paying any attention to Ao, really. So,
Right. For
Zoe,
better
what do you
or
think?
worse. Okay, so if I want to stay concealed from her, I can just keep on keeping on. But if I wanted to try and hide, that would be an action. I never actually go all the way into like hidden. So
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. So essentially, the situation is that if you want to have people lose track of where you are, you can take the sneak action.
right.
The sneak action is you move up to half of your speed, which because you're moving through difficult terrain is going to be not very far at all.
Half a square.
Half a square. At the end of the movement, you make a stealth check, and I compare it to her perception DC. And if you beat it, then you become undetected to her, meaning she knows somebody is around here somewhere, but doesn't have a sense of like what square you're in.
Okay. And is she flat-footed to me right now because I'm hidden? Or not
Yes.
hidden, but concealed? Okay, so she's
You are hidden.
hidden. I'm just
Yes.
not. There's all these words are the same to
I
me,
know.
and I'm not going to learn them.
I
I'm
gotcha. Okay, you're not
Um.
gonna never mind. If you wanted to, I got them ready to go.
Okay. Is there more we can learn? Like, Armat learned about her as a ghost.
Right.
Is there more Ao can learn about her as sort of like Belcora the ghost?
Yes, but it's the highest DC you've ever seen in your life.
Okay.
It's the highest DC I've ever seen.
You've ever seen. It's an impossible DC. But you're going to make me do a religion check somehow, and that's not going to work.
Or occultism.
Which is not terrible, but not great. What weaknesses does this woman have as part of her sort of like, can we harness the power? Is she like trying to understand her type thing?
Okay. Yeah, so you'll learn something not about Belcora Haravex, the spellcaster, but about Belcora Haravex, the ghost, if you give me a religion or occultism check. Okay. So you get the sense that her lowest save is going to be her fortitude save, but that also her reflex save is very, very low.
Right. So one of those is not low.
Sounds dubious.
right, she's going to use the wand that she had in her hand. So she's learned what she can, which is to say a truth and a lie. She had pulled out the wand of illusory creature before.
Okay.
So she is going to cast an illusory creature.
Okay.
And that illusory creature is going to be Volek Azenray, or as much as she can have it look like that.
Okay, I'm reading the rules for illusory creature. This is like the most rules in a spell that
It's a
you
lot
ever
of
saw.
rules. Welcome to
So
the thing.
you tell me, is this a thing that you're confident you're allowed to do? Since it's on your character sheet. Okay, got it.
Illusory.
So
I think she can.
Creature.
I mean, it's
think you're
not
right.
super clear. Like, I think she can at least try. It can't speak.
yep.
But I could try to use ghost voice or whatever, which I probably got rid of 8 levels ago. But whatever. Like, the idea is she wants to cast him. So Belcora's over to the like northwest of this dungeon, and she wants to cast Azenray or something that looks as close to him as this spell allows, up like straight to the north. And I think the range on this is 30 feet. Is it 30 or 60?
Okay.
The range on illusory creature is 500 feet.
Oh, all right. So
Wow.
she's going to cast him kind of like up to the north, not quite up in that little mouth of the cave, but just below that. And I don't know why I can't. I guess this will let me ping. Will not let me ping.
Is illusory creature subtle in the remaster? Subtle being the new thing
Like you can
that lets
cast
you
it,
cast a spell without
stealthily.
people knowing that you're casting a spell.
It doesn't have the subtle trait on Nethys.
Okay, so she knows you're casting a spell. She doesn't know what the spell is, but she does know that Volek Azenray is appearing. I'm going to drop Volek Azenray in a place, and you tell me if it's the right place.
Just one north of that, if it'll
Okay.
like fit in the, yeah. But the idea is sort of like, this is a combo of like, it will distract her from the party. She'll have to whip her head around, and he appears like angry, sad, right? He can't talk, but he's sort of like weeping and pulling his hair out and pointing at her.
Yeah. I'm going to say I think this is incredibly interesting and clever and cool, and so I'm going to give you a hero point.
Hey,
All right.
hell yeah.
And the reason that I'm giving this hero point is that I believe that I'll be able to like blast through this
Oh, yeah.
on my next turn, but it ruins my plans. Like I know what I'm doing with her on my next time giving like
And
on
it's
my next
dealing
turn.
with this weird Volek Azenray guy.
It's messing her up significantly, which is why I'm giving you that hero point.
And I like that it fits with like, I don't think Ao's ready to hurt her yet.
Right.
All right. So that's it. That's my turn.
Okay. So, Belcora raises an eyebrow at Ao casting a spell and says, something isn't right about this. She sees Volek Azenray. To refresh everybody's memory, okay? Volek Azenray was a drow who turned himself into a pile of living worms in order to continue his work trying to repair Belcora Haravex's lenses. He loved her, and he dragged the various librarians in the 3rd floor who loved him along the way, even though he only had eyes for Belcora. Belcora looks over towards Volek, this illusion that Ao's created, sort of tisks a couple times like, it would be really pathetic if that were you, Volek. And she spends an action to seek at Volek. This is a perception check for an action. She rolls a 1 on the die.
Stop it.
Oh my
Stop
god.
it. So good.
She rolls a 1 on the die.
She really thinks it's Volek.
So she believes it's Volek
my
somehow.
It's so good.
That's amazing.
And she says to Volek, good. I had thought you were dead. Let's kill them together. And she flies down to the southwest, around this cloud of etheric shards.
I think she'd still go through it, no?
Sorry, aren't there walls? Is
and
like
so
my
she-
version of this just very different than yours?
And she
She's going out
disappears
to
from sight.
the part of the cavern that leads out onto the river
She was
area, and then is going around.
And then she
But-
flies through the wall behind
she was
you.
on a square of it,
She-
wasn't she?
I think
And
she
she
can go
appears
through
between
walls.
Mag and Trill. You
It
look
seems
at
like
the
she
wall,
can just go through the wall.
zoom, and this ghost appears through the wall.
But wasn't she, my point is,
I
wasn't she standing on a square that was in it?
Yeah, and I think that you take damage when you move into squares.
It was when you moved through, so since she was leaving it, it doesn't count?
Yeah.
All right, question.
Yes.
Does something popping out of the wall next to you trigger a reactive
I think it does. She
strike?
moved out of a square within your reach, even though it's a wall. I'm going to let you have it. I'm going to let you take the reactive strike.
Seems like it would.
I'm going to let you take it.
Although, you're not gonna... Do you have anything
not
with,
gonna
you
do
have anything with
anything.
force damage?
Well, let's see what it does. Let's just see. We're
Yeah,
we're
let's just
learning.
learn.
Let's see what kind of damage this hammer strike does.
Skibbity bop. It's a 20 on the die.
Wow.
This is such a different fight than last time.
It may not
Six
do any
of
damage though, right? It's going to be this incredible stroke of...
Very good. Nice.
This is nuts.
Things have gotten weird.
Here we go. I'm drawing from the deck. Is it the ace of spades?
No.
It is the 8 of spades, not the ace. So this is going to be regular double damage crit for Mag.
But you roll 56 damage,
Okay.
and then the crushing rune would render her clumsy 1 and enfeebled 1, as well as prone from the crit specialization of the hammer.
So the crit specialization, the target is knocked prone. It's not an athletics check. The ghosts are immune to athletics check actions kind of things. So she's going to make this fortitude save. I bet you she fails it, knowing what my luck is like today. She rolls a 24.
It's a DC 25 fortitude
Wow.
Okay. She's
This-
flying. She's floating in midair. I'm running incorporeal creatures now as though they do not fall when they don't take the fly action. I'm
Sure.
reworking the way that I do that. Because if I did that, if I forced her to take the fly action, you tripping her would mean that she would fall through the universe infinitely into oblivion. And
That
I don't think that
makes-
makes
yeah.
sense.
Fair, just the game.
So what happens is she gets hit by this hammer strike and twists around and is flailing in midair, and it's now Mag's turn.
Yeah, it is. Mag would like to hit her again, please.
If Mag waits one more turn,
Uh-huh.
Trill could give her ghost touch on a weapon. Because you are next to
So
Trill.
I could just delay until after you, and you'll give me ghost touch, which will get rid of the damage resistance.
Hey,
to
I'm
more
sorry.
damage.
I'm going to retcon a thing. I don't typically do this. You're
Go ahead.
delaying. You don't have reactions when you delay. That hit didn't happen.
Oh, bummer. Really? You don't have reactions when you delay?
You don't have reactions when you delay.
Did we know that rule?
This is the cheapest, shittiest thing I've ever done on this
know that?
podcast.
This is it.
I feel like
Wow.
I've never heard that rule before.
It's in there, and the rules are publicly available for free.
Fascinating.
Didn't realize you hated us this month.
Well,
I
okay, so she didn't
do.
take any
All
hits, but Trill can still give Mag some ghost touch.
Yep, right there. You can't use reactions until you return to the
I just
initiative.
feel
order.
like I kind of used up my 20. You know what I mean?
Rude. It was rude.
All
that's not how numbers work, dude.
It is how dice work, and you know it.
No, it's not. Stop it. Stop it.
This is a little thing I like to call the gambler's accuracy. All right. Sure. And what that would do is it would get rid of the resistance to so the extra 10 damage that she resisted would go away. Sure.
Okay.
Lay it on me, Trill.
So Mag continues to delay, and it is now Trill's turn.
Yeah, so Trill's gonna reach out as she sees Belcora appear in front of her. And she looks over to Mag and reaches her hand out and touches which do you have the hammer out? Which weapon do you have out?
The Earthbreaker,
out. And she casts Ghostly Weapon on it.
All right. And if we are playing, hey, I have an idea for something that might be cool for your character to do, then I'm going to match your, hey, wait a minute, and I'll give you Ghost Touch with a, would you kindly use an action to move so you're not standing next to Belcora anymore?
Great. Love it. I love it.
Okay, cool.
Fair.
Just trying to get each other's backs here.
So Trill casts
And
Ghost.
that's teamwork.
So you can go ahead and use that spell
Dreamwork.
effect, Ghostly Weapon.
Yes, thank you.
And
then
Trill is going to, hopefully, Belcora doesn't have any reactions. And Trill's.
We're learning so much.
We're
right
learning
now.
so
it will be
much.
interesting.
You know what? Let's find out. Trill's going to move.
Great.
Ooh. Shades of Gug.
I'm so happy with the way that
Shades
you guys have
of
started
God.
playing, by the way. Trill scampers down the stairs, her little gnome legs carrying her down, tap, 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 as Belcora Haravex looms in between Mag and Isthan's faces.
I imagine this is accompanied by the bongos from Scooby-Doo.
That's right. That's what it is.
But they're more high pitched.
An amazing turn from Trill. Let's throw a hero point out at Trill also.
Hell yeah.
Why, thank you.
Okay, I'm guessing that Mag is now not delayed.
Mag will go now. Thank you.
Okay, so as Mag sees Trill bless her Earthbreaker with this enchanting magic and Trill runs to safety, it's now Mag's turn.
You said something about Belcora having the ability to resist something about athletics checks in combat. How do we know that?
That's the thing that all incorporeal creatures, it's in the rules of the game that athletics checks don't work against ghosts, basically.
So there's no point in doing a slam down.
Correct.
Because the check to trip at the end of it would fail.
Yes,
No point in trying to grab
for the same reason.
because there's nothing to grab. So there's not a lot of cool stuff for me to do then. It's just hitting her and seeing what happens. So let's
Hitting
let's
her
hit her.
with a blessed weapon specifically meant to kill ghosts still seems pretty cool to me.
Agreed.
18 on the die.
That
How's a
hits.
37 to hit.
Mag swings back. This trail of blue energy coming off of the Earthbreaker as it collides with Belcora as though Belcora were there in the room with you.
Cool.
It slams into her chest and she goes as your weapon reaches across mortality itself and slams into her.
Well, when you put it like that, and to double check, 37 is a hit, but not a crit.
Correct.
Okay, so her armor class is also fricknormous. Yeah, 25 damage.
25 damage. That is all going through. And she's like, "Huh!" And you see as you hit her, it's almost like there's interference on her. It's like there's like a as she's like shimmering in such a way that it's almost like the energy is like draining out of her. Like she's almost like disapparating in front of you. But then she's like,
That's cool.
and she all forms back together in front of you.
That's cool.
Her dress now in
That
perfectly
is really
pristine
cool.
haute couture condition. You have 2 more actions.
I would like to, Lars, I would like to use a hero point card.
A hero point card. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would like to welcome Commissar Mitch
Welcome, Mitch.
Thank you, Mitch.
to our game. Welcome to the table. Thank you, Mitch, for your submission. This card name is called And They Don't Stop Coming, and They Don't Stop Coming, and They Don't Stop Coming, and They Don't Stop Coming.
Love it.
Yeah, hit the ground running. It didn't make sense not to live for fun. Your brain gets smart.
Yeah,
But your head
brain gets smart, but your head gets dumb.
much.
That's
I
definitely
unironically
what's happening.
Love that song. I just want to say, I think that song.
All right, there we
rules.
go.
Hey now.
We're all stars.
Put your game on.
Until the end of the turn, it says sometimes the best way to deal with an enemy is to turn them into dust. Until the end of this turn, your multiple attack penalty cannot increase by any means. When your turn ends, you become stunned 1.
Okay.
So this is borrowing from the future to help with the present, and that means I will get 2 more melee strikes with no multiple attack penalty.
Let's call it that. Let's say that's how it works. Yeah. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you,
Thank you,
Commissar Mitch.
Mitch. The
you,
first
Mitch.
one is a 19 on the die.
That
for
hits.
38.
See it.
That hits.
Wow.
All right, so to be clear, rolling
Uh-huh.
a 19,
Uh-huh.
and Mag's attack roll is 19 plus 19 for a 38 does not
Uh-huh.
crit. The
No.
only way to crit Belcora is a 20, a nat 20.
Well,
Kinda
we'll see. We don't
figures.
even know if that'll critter.
It'll critter.
21
critter.
damage.
And a second strike from Mag, following up as she goes into like full on beast mode, right? She's exerting herself so hard. Massive strike, massive strike, massive strike. 21 points of damage. Is that what you said, David?
21 more.
Okay, let's get that third attack.
And is there any sense as these are happening, like, of how injured she is?
Yeah.
Does she look the worse for wear?
She definitely
Is
looks the worse for wear. You're
Does she look
beating
like
her-
she's on death's door?
No.
Okay. These are not like the heftiest damage rolls. Last is a 19.
Oh my goodness.
Oh God, I love to see it.
Stop me if you've heard this one before. That's a hit.
Here's more damage.
This ghost touch spell, this ghostly weapon that Trill just put onto
Yeah.
Mag's
Yeah.
MVP.
Earthbreaker,
That works
MVP,
out.
as
most valuable
she
trail.
goes into this like destructive rage. Another, how much more damage are we looking at?
21.
Okay, so Mag, in the course of 3 attacks, just did 20, 42, 50, 60, 6 points of damage, 67, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
But
incredible.
Belcora is still up. So what else happens with this hero point card? You're now stunned.
Stunned 1 for, let's see, is it my next? Oh no, when my turn ends, I become stunned.
I imagine
1,
you get like
so I'm
a
gonna stay
reverb
stunned.
from the power.
Yeah, totally.
Hangover.
These 3 strikes are something about making contact with Belcora itself after 3 times leaves Mag woozy from the vibrations.
Mag's turn ends. She becomes stunned. She'll have 2 actions next round, and she cannot act, so she cannot take reactions here. It's now Isthin's turn. What does Isthin do? Isthin is within a strike of Belcora. As you turn over and see Mag depleted, wavering back and forth on her feet. What are you going to do?
I mean, Isthin has the vitalizing rune on his staff, so that's one of the things Belcora can be harmed by. So the main attack might not do too much, but hopefully that persistent vitality damage will stack up with Mag's terrifying onslaught.
Okay.
So Isthin is going to kick things off with just a spell strike. And he's going to use ignition as the cantrip to try and just pour the damage on and blast through those resistances.
Great.
32 to hit.
32 to hit hits.
Awesome. Okay, so that is 19 bludgeoning and 1d6 persistent vitality.
And that persistent vitality, this like golden life energy wraps around Belcora, and you get the sense that that's an excellent move.
Awesome. So that is 16 fire damage.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she resists 10 of that damage. So just a little bit of fire damage gets through.
Okay. And then he's going to drop into his arcane cascade. Or no, actually, he's going to raise his staff into the parry position.
So Isthin raises his staff to act defensively, and it's now Ao's turn. Ao, Belcora is in a very different place from where you found her. She's to your south, but you are still invisible and in the midst of this cloud of sharpened magic. What is Ao going to do?
Here's what I'd like to do. I want to sustain Volek Azenray.
Yep.
Real life Volek Azenray, who we all
So
believe
he gets
is...
to make 2 actions when you sustain him.
Okay, and I want to use the ventriloquist ring to be able to have him talk. I think because that'll be a 2 action, and then sustaining him is 1, but he gets 2 actions, right? So that all works out.
I looked at the illusory creature text, and it says you can try and speak through the creature, or the
Great, let's do that.
with a perception or let me call it. Might need to attempt the image can't speak, but you can use your actions to speak through the creature with the spell disguising your voice as appropriate. You might need to attempt a deception or performance check to mimic the creature as determined by the GM. This is especially likely if you're trying to imitate a specific person and engage with someone that person knows. So that's
That
irrelevant.
seems like the case that we're in.
Rules text.
Yeah, so you
there.
can have Volek talk, and you're going to have to make a check, and if you fail the check, she'll see through the illusion then.
Okay. Well, it feels like
or she'll know something's wrong.
right. Might as well try, but I don't need to use ventriloquism then through the ring.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay. So first thing she's doing is sustaining Balak Azenray. Is he wants to move towards her? Is he bound by the same difficult terrain situation? Since
Well,
he's
he's an illusion. So
how far can he move? That's what I'm
How
asking.
far can he move is the question. It's an illusory image. It's not an incorporeal creature. I think he can just walk right on through this. Why would an illusion take damage from this magic? It doesn't exist. It's not real.
Okay, great. So he is going to move forward, I don't know, what's his speed? 20 feet, 25 feet?
His speed is, he's weird because he's a bunch of worms. His speed is 10 feet and he has a swim speed of 25 feet. So if you can get him in the water, you'll really book it.
Would that we were near a lake. Okay, he comes forward 10 feet and is sort of holding out his arms in like a beseeching, but you can't see me because I'm like a beseeching but angry way. And Ao, projecting her voice into him, decides to just go fairly bold because she's feeling extremely powerful given that Belcora has bought this unhinged and pretty unlikely to work plan. So he says, "You don't understand. The times have changed. You must leave the light to realize your potential."
Okay. So first let's get a deception check to see if she even believes that this is him talking at all.
Should be good.
Should be good. This is what AO's built for.
All right, let's go. That's an 18 on the die for a 38.
Okay.
Doing okay
so,
tonight, guys. Knock on
Yeah,
wood.
So what do we think? This is versus
think I
her
have any
perception
roll
DC,
around.
probably, right? She's like trying
That
to see
feels
through
right.
it.
Yeah.
Her perception DC is a 32.
All right.
So she believes this is Volek,
So funny.
and she turns to. She squints into the field of shards because she knows something is going on in there. She knows that Ao's in there somewhere, right? She saw Ao disappear and move into that, and she hears things. So she looks towards Mag, looks towards Istin, looks towards Ao, and says, "What? What have you done to him? What have you bumpkins done to him?"
We really bumpkins at this point in the game?
And so she buys it,
Okay.
and she thinks that she believes that.
Like
I
someone's
don't think
tampered
that
with him.
it makes full sense to her what it
Right.
is that you just said to her, but she does think there's something wrong with him. This is really Volek. There's something really wrong with him, and he really just did speak to you. To her, sorry.
Okay. All right, so I have 2 more moves, right?
Correct.
Okay. Having Azenray up there and feeling emboldened, Ao is now going to cast Phantom Crowd to the south of Belcora.
Okay.
Wow.
like in the squares to her south, pretty much.
Yeah, basically right. I think it's got a 60-foot range, so I've got a pretty good. But yeah, like just to the south of her, kind of to try. I mean, we've seen her fly, so I don't know that she really thinks
So in
that's
between
gonna
her and
keep her.
Trill.
Yes. So it protects Trill a little. And
Very interesting.
it's chaotic. It's chaotic is what it is, but it feels
What?
right.
What are you talking
What
about?
are you
Exactly
talking
what we
about?
want from
What do you mean?
Ao.
All right, and so a small sea of 10 feet by 10 feet of bog mummies appears. And they start agreeing incredibly rapidly with Azenray. They're like, that's right, the light is out. You don't want the light, master or mistress. You must move on. Your potential is elsewhere. Get on, realize yourself.
So Belcora at this point doesn't know whether you are an illusionist or a summoner. She knows that there's something happening over to her right? She doesn't know whether these bog mummies are real until she spends a seek action to look at them and see that they're illusory. So as far as she knows right now, there's an invisible summoner just manifesting all kinds of things all over the place, and maybe your friend. Like this is going to take some time for her to put the pieces together as to exactly what it is that's going on. But right now, she's so discombobulated and so confused about what this could be that she's left with fewer options for sure. A very exciting and interesting turn, and I'm just going to give you a hero point too.
already got one.
Oh, 2 hero
Oh, you already
points
did.
in one episode.
Did I already give you one today? Okay.
I give mine to Mag for being the only person to do damage on her.
Okay. So I'll give
Thanks,
this
our
one
magic
to.
son.
We'll give this one to Mag. I'm just like. I'm being taken for such a ride right now by the four of you. Like.
I don't think any of us thought it was going to go like this.
we were
but
all
here
very
are.
nervous.
It's very, very interesting what it is that the four of you are capable of doing when you like get your weirdest stuff going at the same time. Okay, that's it for that's it for Ao's turn,
That's
right?
it, yeah.
And now Ao's like sort of depleted because Ao has 2 spells that she needs to sustain. So she's now very busy with magic if she wants to keep this going. So she's going to be moving a little bit slower in future turns. It's now the beginning of round 4, and here's the situation. There is an illusory collection of bog mummies applauding to the immediate south of Belcora Haravex, who has just been shellacked 3 times in a row, bang, 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 by Mag with the Earthbreaker. She's also been lit up a little bit by Isthin and is chasing after Trill, is having her movements manipulated by Trill. The 4 of you are working together in a truly inspiring way that makes her very unhappy, but that I am delighted to see occur. On Belcora's turn, she looks at Isthin, and she looks again like she's shimmering. There's something strange that's keeping her from being able to exist here for that much longer. And she is reeling from this strike, this vitality damage wrapped around her, and this fire that she just experienced. And she looks at Isthin, and she says, "It's an insult that someone like me should even have to look upon someone like you. So perhaps we'll just slow your mind down a little bit." And she says, "Mind down a little bit." And Isthin hears, "Mind down a little bit." And she starts casting a spell.
No.
Does anybody want to make a reactive strike?
Isthin does.
You can't, Mag. Sorry. Because you're stunned.
Oh, stunned people don't get a reaction.
Yeah.
Man, I'm learning all kinds of fun
tough day
stuff
for
about
reactions.
reactions in this episode.
So if Isthin wants to make a reaction, you can.
Yes, please. Thank you. 26 to hit.
Okay. That misses, and the spell goes off. Isthin feels his mind being reduced, almost like Belcora is pushing her fingers into his mind and ripping away big chunks of it, metaphorically.
My mind!
I need a will save, please.
33.
33 means that you just succeeded on the button. Isthin becomes stupefied too.
Oh.
For a round, as like everything just like she goes, and Isthin is just reeling. He is not able to think straight. His spell casting is all messed up. His brain is not working right.
If that was a success, Isthin gets a crit success because of his level 9 resolve.
Fuck.
The bog mummies cheer. Yay!
And Belcora Haravex says, "Well, I think I've made my point." And she flies through the wall to the west. No. And Belcora flies away, shimmering and disapparating, and like she's running out of time as she disappears back through this wall.
Finally close enough to Vitality Lash her.
And a few moments later, where once there was a bunch of wild shit happening at the same time, now there is silence and the sound of the bog.
Good riddance, you shitty, good-for-nothing, money-grabbing, awful lady. The bog mummies shout after her.
You tell him,
Bad mommy.
mummies. Yeah, I agree. Really
the mama.
hurt.
Nope.
That was so not the mama. Is that what we're doing now?
Bog mummies.
Is that what kind of show this
First
is?
thing, well, when you introduced them, they were all calling her mommy.
Yeah, but I wasn't expecting the baby from dinosaurs to get involved
No
here.
one's ever expected a baby from dinosaurs.
I took up with some
Potential
catchphrase.
future sponsor.
The baby.
That
moves.
was such an interesting situation to me.
It was
Oh
unexpected.
my gosh,
One
that's
word for
It's a little
wild.
bonkers for sure.
Okay.
Watching Mag smash her with her ghostly weapon was great.
Yeah.
Mag, so stunned, mechanically stunned, and also stunned in world, still raging, and her head whipping back and forth, and would just take a wild swing at the wall with the hammer, and her hammer crashes into the wall where Belcora has just been, leaving a crater the size and shape of the Earthbreaker's face and small cracks running in every direction from it, spreading, crunching. Maybe it's like a slate or a shale kind of thing, and so these sheets of rock are cracking off to the floor, and her breath is heaving, and her eyes look even more wild than usual. It's not just the rage, the glow from the rage, but it's just complete bedlam inside Mag's mind. Her breath is heaving, and then she pulls the Earthbreaker out of the wall and throws it to the floor, and then she punches the wall in the same spot. She leaves another mark that's the size and shape of her fist, and more shards of rock crash to the floor. And then she herself sits down hard, and there's no words, there's no thoughts, just completely shot. Her circuits are just shot.
And into the silence, I think Istin blows out a long breath like, well, that could have gone worse. I think we got her next time.
Fellas, that was kind of amazing. I think we should maybe go back in the other room and rest before moving on through here again.
And as they're all chatting, the apparition of Azenray steps forward, however many times he needs to through this conversation, towards Ao, and then loudly proclaims in a even more fake seeming voice, "The light must be reclaimed and harnessed for good."
Ew, that's a terrible idea.
I am not Ao. It's me. I killed your father.
And Mag hurls a slice of slate at Volek.
And as that slice of slate flies across, it hits Volek, and Volek disapparates in these curly cues of smoke and wash away into the swamp behind.
And the bog mummies cheer.
Right. And then they too fade.
Yeah.
And then, still not being able to see Ao, you sort of hear her call from the cavern. "Hey, Trill, I'm not wearing shoes because they suck. Can you move this stuff?" Because I think the shards are still there, right?
Yeah, just they're about to fade. Just give it a sec. There they go.
Ow.
And they
oh,
recede.
okay.
I'm going to say that each shard individually sort of retreats back into whatever sort of universe of magic it is that they come out of, and just
I was in the first world.
Trill kind of looks at them and thinks, man, it was pretty annoying that she just went through the wall to go around that. I was really proud of that spell.
It's a cool spell. No two ways about it.
Cool.
Honestly, I could see that coming in very handy.
Yeah.
It's a cool spell.
I guess, are we going to another room? Ao wants to treat Mag
Yeah, I
in
think
this
we should
then,
go back to the room we came from. I mean, just because we want to heal, and I don't feel like being in that room for too long while healing.
Healing in this place last time didn't.
Yeah.
do it.
On the other hand-
Yeah, Trill needs to refocus.
the other hand. So you pull back into this this chamber that the Calignes used to smoke these eggs to worship Earthagol. Dulak steps out from behind a column. He's like, "So you have found Earthagol?
How'd it go?
Good.
No, we're
It
just,
seems
don't get your hopes up just yet. We're on our way. We just had a bit of an incident, so we just need to rest for a minute.
And Mag, wild-eyed, like breath still heaving, looks up at him and says, "Who?"
Earthagol, the one who grants us the visions. I heard fighting.
Yes.
Oh, we got rid of a bunch of wisps. Yeah. That's what we were dealing with there.
Good. This alliance is working out swimmingly, I think.
Sure. That's the word.
Do you need anything? Can I get you anything? Can I get you like a...
Do you have like a spritzer or something?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Maybe,
And
You
she
know, you-
walks down the hallway.
Mechanically compress water.
Yes,
air
of
into
course.
Water.
Yes. I have a fondness for it as well. See you later. And
Oh,
she
thank
leaves to go to her room to get some seltzer.
What a lovely person. You know, I totally misjudged these Kalini. I thought, oh, they're all blowing up in my face and whatnot. And I was like, I don't like that. But now that we can share a spirit, you know, it's true. If you can sit down with someone and have a spritzer with them, you know, you can find common ground with anyone.
I'm sorry, we're out of spritzer. Is
What
still
the
water.
fuck?
And Istin kills her.
Yeah.
Impaled
Best laid plan.
on a staff. She's like, ah! And just stapled
A
to the
swizzle
wall.
stick through her
That's
heart.
the last time I don't get spritzer.
All right, while this is going on, Ao is quickly treating everyone.
Trill's refocusing.
And as soon as Mag is rehealed, she like stomps over to Istin and she grabs Istin by the shoulders and she shoves her canteen into his chest. That was her. You're talking about seltzer? Drink this.
All right. Easy there. It was her, all right. And did you not see how that ended? She flew away. Because with the ghost touch spell on your weapon, we had her on the rocks. Did you not catch that bit? And he takes a big swig of Mag's canteen, slams it back onto her chest and say, "We got this. Focus up. We'll do this."
We had her on the rocks and she slipped away. She'll come back stronger next time.
I don't know if she's gonna be stronger.
Well, even if she is, we'll have learned more too. Every encounter we fight down here, everything that we survive makes us stronger, wiser, a better team.
Like the
And that's
light.
just what. Oh, we don't need the light. We got Trill and her music. We got Mag and her big ass fucking hammer. We got you, a trickster who can play with people's minds. You just tricked Belcora into thinking her dead boyfriend was a worm guy. Which sounds crazy, by the way. I don't even know how you dealt with that.
Oh yeah, you weren't there for that. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
kind of
no,
gross.
I-
That was kind of gross.
It sounded pretty gross. I have to
Really
say.
kind of cool, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right?
You're
I
right,
mean, I would love to have seen his spellbook. Let me be honest with you.
We
I
did do
know
that,
repl-
Istin.
What's that?
She interrupts. She's like, "You're right. We did do that. We can do other great stuff. What's next?
Earthagol?
Yeah.
Earthagol!
Earthagol? Earthagol? Earthagol?
Earthagol!
Is there no part of y'all that feels slightly disappointed?
Totally,
Kind of,
yeah.
yeah. No, I get it.
Like Zoe did this crazy thing and Lars rolled a nat 1, so it worked. And then she did this other crazy thing and sustained them. But she had like
be able to keep
twin illusions, which drew her right next to us. And I bashed her a bunch of times and instant spell struck the fuck out of her. And, so just like.
Next time.
Anyway, I just feel like it's not totally unreasonable to be slightly.
Bummed that we didn't.
Like, what if I'd had
finish
some
the job.
reactions?
That would be pretty funny. I was like, well, that's been the Abomination Vault. You win. Cool.
Yeah. And now you can explore the remainder of the dungeon at your leisure.
Right.
All Griel
Like in a
comes
video
down
game
and
after
joins
you've
us.
defeated the bad guy, and then they're still like, oh, you can finish these side quests now if you want.
Exactly.
Finish the game, but there's still other stuff you could do if you really want
It's
to.
like if the minor league baseball game ended after the 5th inning, but you just stuck around in the stadium and watched all the weird stuff they usually do between innings. You watch the teenagers
The nut race.
racing in the weird costumes, and you.
So
So
yes,
it
we head
sounds like the
north.
4 of you are pushing forward to the north, and you climb these stairs again. No more wisps. You do get the sense that Belcora is going to take a little bit of time to recover. So if nothing else, perhaps you find some comfort in the understanding that you will be free to explore, at least until you see another wisp.
Mac, you messed her up. That was awesome.
That was
And
awesome.
you continue up this northern stair to a large cliff that looks out over the swamp. If you recall, there was a 20-foot incline that led to a platform. You're now up on that platform, looking down onto the Chul dock where you found the body of Colton Marabi.
Wow, this waterfall is kind of cool from above. What a view. What a grim view.
There's a small creek, sort of a trickle of water right in front of you that is leading into a waterfall splashing down into the swamp below, but leading out of a cave that there's a tight 5-foot opening leading into in front of you.
Do we follow the water?
I think Ao stops and listens at the opening to see if she can hear anything or.
You press your ear to the opening and you hear strange whispers, like a strange, almost musical whispering sound.
For the music? Couldn't place it.
Does Ao go into this cave?
I think she's going to let someone else go so that she can hide if she needs to. But
Yeah, Mag will
One
go
of the
first.
tanks.
Is the null follower.
Okay. You step into this next room, and you can see that there are streams that are intersecting with each other in this watery cavern. They're fed by a dark pond against the western wall of this cave. The streams divide the chamber into islands, each of them covered with lichen, mildew, and mushrooms. There are bioluminescent fungi and motes of light bathing this place in eerie, multicolored illumination. And this light plays off the water, reflects in strange shapes on the cavern's walls. It's almost like you see small humanoid apparitions gliding through the air in front of you. The sound of the water flowing along the sides of these islands echoes off the walls in weird ways, like harsh whispers. You hear, "Haravex has risen. There is nothing you can do." As these overlapping echoes, very clearly now that you're here. This is the same sound that you heard on the pond earlier. And you can just hear this almost in this hypnotic, strangely calming way. In a small alcove off to the right, you see a member of the Star Watch. It's Torpor Wedge.
The grunt!
The grunt Torpor Wedge, sitting there, his eyes rolled back on his head. He's just whispering, "The essences shall become one.
oh.
The essences shall become one. The essences shall become one." And a short distance past that, you see a creature sitting on the largest of these islands, holding a strange piece of polished glass in one of its 4 hands. The monster that you see here is Earthagal, it seems. And Earthagal is a Gug.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No.
And we will pick up
No.
from there next time.
Oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
no.
Such a long day. Roots of Ruin is a Tabletop Gold production produced under the Paizo Incorporated fan content policy, using trademarks and copyrights owned by Paizo that are covered under that policy. The Roots of Ruin is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. All original characters and content in The Roots of Ruin are the property of Tabletop Gold, and all rights are reserved. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. Visit our website, tabletopgold.com, to learn more about us and our shows, join the Golden Horde to get access to more shows, pick up great merch, and connect to the best online community in all of podcasting. Thanks for listening.